for 1.
And set.
And they're doing extremely well. The rate of scoring for them to get the runs to win this game is 3.4.
It is, especially this early in the innings.
Yes, I would agree with you.
We've got Stevens continuing, and he's going to be bowling to Messiah with a slipper gully, a third man, and cover mid off. On the onside, a fine leg, a forward square, a short mid wicket in the mid on. His first ball to Messiah, he came forward and pushed it out into the covers. Archie Blake moved around and fielded. Stevens into Messiah, who comes back and pushes this one back along the wicket. No run. 27 for 1. Stevens into Messiah, short. Messiah comes back and cuts it. More like a steer rather than a cut. Down to the gully region where Woodfield, no run. We've got Peter Williams at first, Donovan Johnson at third man, halfway to the fence. Richard Wood at gully. Archie Blake at cover, Maurice Blake at mid-off, and Stevens now into Messiah, comes forward looking to turn up into the offside, on the onside. Missed, taken in the pad. Durant came out from behind the wicket and fielded, no run. On the onside, we've got Richard Edwards at mid-on, Ralston Johnson at short, mid-wicket. We've got Donald at forward square, and Dawkins at fine leg. And Messiah looking to play this one through the offside. Missed all the way through to the wicketkeeper. No run. Stevens into Messiah. One seemed to start on the leg stump and run back into Messiah. Covered up and pushed it back along the wicket. No run. It's a pretty good over there from Stevens. Third man, a point. 3 all the way to the fence and extra cover and a mid-off. Here's Dawkins pitching up to Levi. Levi coming out and driving this ball. Seemed to be 4, but there isn't a signal. And the batsmen get 3. The score moves up to 30. And this is what Levi is capable of doing. Picking up the scoring rate rather quickly by playing strokes like that. Getting the ball pitched up, moving out and hitting it over the top. And with that stroke, now we see some field adjustments being made. Mid-out was pushed back. Dawkins into Messiah. Messiah comes out, looks for drives, missed. Ball taken by Durant. $30 for 1. This is the 7th over. Dawkins into Messiah. Messiah comes forward and steers this one past slip for a single. Wood at third man field. 31. 31 for 1. Dawkins run from the southern end into Newton. Newton comes forward, looks to drive. This one seemed to move away from him quite a lot. Dawkins stood and stared down the wicket at Newton. Wondering how come he didn't get an edge to that one. Dawkins into Newton. It's a good ball. Newton, this one was short of a good length. Newton came in looking for the ball, I guess, to run into him, and it kind of straightened up. And it will just go by the outside edge of the bat. There's no run. 31 for 1. There's Dawkins running away from his ball to Newton. Newton comes forward and drives down to a deep mid off. Easy gets a single. There he played that stroke with pretty much without any back lift whatsoever. The ball was that well up. Just making the adjustment with his feet, stroking it out to mid off. For 1. Batsman just having a conference in the middle of the wicket.
We are looking at a very early game here, because as long as these batsmen get on top, they are going to stroke the batsman's ability to produce runs. What do you think, Bishop?
That's a very good point. I don't think Conway has the quality bowling, and with that, Levi just came forward, not quite forward, but it was kind of half-hearted. I don't know if the ball took the edge or what, but he's out bowl, and we have the non-striker Messiah telling him he never really covered the ball, and I guess that was just a mental lapse by him. The ball seemed to take the off stump, so he's gone. The point I was trying to make, though, is that I don't think Conway has the quality bowling that would offset a team like U.A.A. I'm sure they came into this, it's not going to change. Even with probably the fall of a few U.A.A. wickets, that's not going to change the state. Conway's would still be considered the underdog. And the moment he took his bat up, I'm sure several people in the crowd suddenly got excited. The one point I want to make, though, is that he has several hailers. That's one thing. And he also has several detractors. I mean, a lot of people out there don't like him simply because of his at-bat stroke.
Let's see if it makes a difference.
Let's see. Looking at his stats for the year, he scored 242 runs, and he had a few scores above 20.
And here he's dropped off the first ball of the game of his innings. And it wasn't a very difficult catch to, I think it was return to Stephens, wasn't it?
Yeah, it looked that way. I didn't quite see it. I just saw the ball, heading towards the carpet. And the reaction of the fielders and the spectators seemed as though he was out. He was dropped.
Yeah,
First ball.
It was a very gently popped up ball too.
Yeah.
Not the kind that most people would drop.
And that is quite uncharacteristic of him, to play a stroke like that.
Blake.
Oh, actually, the ball was dropped by Archie Blake. And here we've got an appeal for another catch. I think
very confident
behind
appeal
the wicket.
Another confident appeal from the fielders. The batsman seemed not to be concerned with it. Neither was the umpire.
If the intensity of the appeal is anything to go by, he was out.
I know. Sometimes I just wish that decisions were made based on that intensity, and there was a way to gauge that. But unfortunately, there isn't a way to do that.
So 2 balls, 2 possible chances here.
Yep, 2 possible chances.
Yesterday, you get 3 balls and you make no runs.
Here the feelers are Stevens. Into M.S.C.L. M.S.C.L comes back and pushes this one out into the point area. No run. Seems as though Conway has suddenly got some life. Stevens into M.S.C.L. This one seemed to go by the outside edge of the bat. He didn't get a touch onto it. And once again, what I'm seeing here, it seemed as though Chico, and I mentioned this earlier, where there seemed to be a spot on the wicket where the ball hits and just skate off.
Yes, and that is the end that we thought that was happening. Well, it's the end of another eventful over here.
Quite eventful, the most eventful. And I'm sure that with a different umpire, rather than having 1 wicket, they would have had 2 wickets in that game. And with a little bit of luck, it wouldn't even have been up to the umpire to make the decision. He would have still had 2 because M.S.C.L was dropped the very first ball.
That's right.
That's true, and I mean, this would appear contrary to the popular opinion because Conway is second in the league in terms of frequency of taking wickets per run scored. I mean, they take a wicket an average of every 10.3 runs that have been scored off their bowling, and only 1 team has bettered that all year.
That's a very good stat, and a very good indication of the quality team that they are. And that's a very good element, and that's why they're here today. I mean, there are several elements that make them the quality team there, and that's one of them. The new bowler is Donovan Blake. He's probably the fastest of the Conway bowlers. He's a pretty good bowler. So remember, looking at the stats earlier, he took 21 wickets.
Actually, he took 26 wickets.
Oh, 26 wickets, I'm sorry.
At a very good 7.58 average.
That's very good indeed, and probably one of the most successful bowlers on his team.
Yes, and he only played in 11 games this year, too.
That's very good. And he doesn't open the bowling, he usually bowls first change. So there, M.S.C.L came forward, looked to play that one through the onside, missed, and the ball also beat the wicketkeeper, 1 by. Here is Donovan bowling with a slip, 3rd man. A gully, cover, an extra cover, and mid-off. The onside and mid-on, forward square, and a fine leg.
Well, on the appeal intensity scale, I don't think that one rates very highly. Basically, only the bowler appealed that time, no one else.
Yeah, it wasn't as high or as loud an appeal as the previous one. Donovan into Messiah, who comes forward and pushes it back along the wicket. U.A.A. now, I'm sure the backs are probably against the wall, as we can say, as they don't want to lose another wicket here to give Conway's an advantage. Donovan into Messiah. Messiah comes back and pushes this one up through mid-on and gets an easy single because the mid-on fielder is about 3/4 way to the fence. So the man at forward square had to run around and field. It's 1 run, end of the over.
Donovan's best day this year has been against one of the very strong teams in the league, Lynn, where he bowled.
Stevens into Messiah. Messiah comes back, pushes this one up into the offside. No run. Stevens bowling very well now. Really reducing the batsman to pushing the ball to the fielders. That's definitely what his team wants from him. Stevens into Messiah. He comes forward and pushes one wide of the man at forward square. Easily gets 2 runs. 2 more to Messiah. Score moves up now to 37. That was the last ball of the over. Got Donovan Blake running into bowl to M.S.C.L. Short. M.S.C.L pulls this one. And Wood at fine leg never got a chance to stop it. 4 runs.
And M.S.C.L didn't even attempt to run in that one.
Oh, definitely not. That's why he's a crowd favorite, because when he plays the ball, he's so confident that it's where he wants it to be, which is always very close to the boundary, that there's no need to run. The crowd love to see that. 41 now for 2. And Donovan Blake running in to bowl to M.S.C.L. This one seemed to keep a little bit low. M.S.C.L looking to slap it through the offside. The ball seemed to keep low and probably cut away from him. Ball wasn't taken cleanly by the wicketkeeper, but he was backed up by the first slip fielder. 41 for 2. And Donovan's at the top of the mark now and turns and runs into bowl to M.S.C.L. M.S.C.L comes in behind, allows it to run up on the onside of the wicket. Donovan bowling from the whipping wallow end. Bowling to M.S.C.L with a slip, a third man, a cover point, a cover mid-off. The onside, he has a mid-on. I'm sorry about that feeling. Offside, he has the mid-on, an extra cover that's deep and a long off. On the onside, he has a deep mid-on. A square leg and a fine leg. And here's Donovan running into bowl to M.S.C.L. M.S.C.L comes back and slaps this one down through gully. More of a steer rather than a slap.
Actually, interestingly for M.S.C.L, Butcher have 2 fielders deep on the boundary behind square leg.
It seemed that way.
Yeah, and the reason for that, M.S.C.L tends to hook the short ball down the leg side with a lot of power. So if he mistimes one and just doesn't get it perfectly, he can be caught at deep square leg or backward of square.
Blake into Messiah. He comes forward. Looks to turn this one to the onside. Missed. Wasn't taken cleanly. One by. 43 for 2. Off 11 overs. That over was a bit expensive. More expensive than several overs have been recently for the Conway team.
Yeah, 5 runs came off that over? Yes, 5 runs.
So the U.A.A. team are pulling themselves back into the game after losing the second wicket. and reasserting their position of dominance in this Conway team. We've got Stevens continuing with a slip of gully, a third man to cover him mid-off, runs into Messiah. Messiah comes forward and pushes his one up to the man at square leg. He's just to the right of the Empire, and this one was traveling towards the Empire, so he just ran around his left and field, no run. Onside, he has a fine leg, a backward square, short mid wicket, and a mid on. Stevens into Messiah. Messiah drives this one. Seemed to drive it into the ground and then bounce up into the air. Batsman easily able to get a single as this one went wide of Maurice, who was at cover. Sorry, who was at mid off. 1 run, 43 for 2.
For the bowling of Stevens, we now have only one fielder deep in backward square region.
45.
And that's a bit surprising, even though Stevens was bowling to M.S.C.L, because Stevens usually don't bowl that short. He tends to bowl a heavy ball in that it's difficult to hit, and the ball comes on to you a lot faster than you think it is, simply because he's a bowler bowling off a run that's that short. So I guess he really puts his upper body
Shoulders.
into the into the ball.
I think he tends to bowl off his chest. You know, the ball comes to you, as Bishop had mentioned, solid. It's like heavy, because he doesn't have a long run up. And try to hit him out the field, you're in a lot of trouble. So you see, he bowls off his chest.
Yep. I know the first time I played against him, I was a little bit surprised as to how soon the ball got to me, and then when it hit the bat, what it felt like. That's a very stupid chance there by the batsman Messiah, playing this one, being the last. Down to backward square, and the fielder backward square down on that, retrieving the ball cleanly. If he had, and with an accurate throw to the wicketkeeper, M.S.C.L would have been out. But he didn't, so M.S.C.L gets another chance to continue his innings. So that's the end of the over. 49 for 2.
46.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's good. 46 for 2. And Donovan Johnson running away to bowl to Messiah. This one starting outside the leg stump and going even further down. The wicketkeeper doing a very good job to stop that one. .46 for 2. And Blake runs in to bowl to Messiah. This one comes in behind and pushes it up to the onside. Batsman getting an easy single. There's this one went down to the man at fine leg. 1 run, 47 for 2. Donovan Blake into M.S.C.L. M.S.C.L comes back, looking to play this one through the onside. The ball seemed to cut back into him from outside the leg stump.
Again, Donovan seemed to think that that should have been a decision going his way. He's not getting a lot of support from his fielders, though, is he, in these appeals?
Yeah, I see that. And he, for some reason, always think this way, that anytime he appeals, that the umpire should give the decision in his favor. I'm sure he feels that way when he's bowling, but not when he's batting. So, 47 for 2, and Donovan running in to M.S.C.L again. Short, and M.S.C.L pulls this one, but there's a fielder down there. Wood runs around, fields 1 run. That's all they get. Oh, I thought they got 1, but they got 2 of the ball. Went by the wicketkeeper, and then threw the fielder back in up Donald.
That's very sad fielding, isn't it?
It is. And
went through 2 fielders.
2 fielders. That's very sad indeed. Which says that Donald really isn't in the game at this point, and he's being urged on by his more experienced teammates to get in the game. You know, there are a number of fundamental things that you learn when you begin to play the game, and you need to do them right now to stop the ball. And evidently, he isn't doing it. And Donovan, let's score 49 for 2, runs into M.S.C.L. M.S.C.L drives this one through the onside. The man at deep mid-on runs in, fields 1 run, end of the over. I believe it's 50. 50 for 2. And that came at the end of 14 overs?
Although U.A.A has lost 2 early wickets, the batsmen are still going for the shots, and they're not overly cautious.
4 runs.
Evidently, I didn't see that. I just saw the stroke being played by M.S.C.L. There seemed to be some confrontation down there right now. The fielders were signaling 6 to umpire. The spectators were signaling 6 to
Obstructing the fielder or the umpire from really ascertaining where the ball is hit. This is not a nice thing for the game, where you have all the spectators on the boundary and the umpire have to stop the game. What do you think?
That's true. It's not nice for the game, and I wish there was a way that sort of behavior could be curtailed. Unfortunately, at this point, there isn't, and it's up to the spectators to police themselves and recognize where they are of the playing area.
Definitely.
I don't care how enthusiastic they are; they must police themselves.
Exactly. There is nobody to police them, and if they want to enjoy the game, they got to stay away from the confines of the area.
That's true.
And
the batsman easily get a single. 55 for 2. That's true. That evidently must happen. How successful they're going to be at doing that, though, it's something else. M.S.C.L against Conway, he scored 46, so I'm sure that they do remember him. Stevens into M.S.C.L, short. M.S.C.L pulls it. He didn't quite get a hold of it. It seemed as though it didn't touch the bat. It seemed as though it touched him stomach area. The score moves him to 57 now for 2. U.A.A was 5th with 102.4. So these are 2 pretty much evenly matched teams in that category.
Was 21 runs, 1 wicket. Stephen Bowl 7 overs, 18 runs, 1 wicket. D. Blake Bowl, 3 overs, 11 runs, no wicket. And the batting, M.S.C.L, who's facing right now. $15. And Messiah is on 21.
Okay.
That gives you a total with
Scores
7
50.
extras, 58
58 for 2. The first ball
for
from
2.
Donovan Blake was pushed out into the onside by M.S.C.L. An easy single, and now it's M.S.C.L bowling to Messiah. Messiah comes forward, steers this one down through gully. The man from third man has to come off the fence. Batsman get an easy single. 59 for 2. M.S.C.L in 16. Messiah in 22. Donovan into M.S.C.L. M.S.C.L comes back. This one seemed to move a bit back into him. Pretty much he played quite an awkward shot. Wasn't quite what he had intended. And there was no run. No run. 58 for 1. Sorry, for 2. And it's Donovan's next ball. M.S.C.L comes in behind him and pushes it back on the offside. No run. Welcome, Keith.
Thank you. How you doing?
Pretty good. Glad to see you at the game.
Thank you. Perfect day for cricket. A little chilly.
Yeah, at this point it seemed to be a little bit chilly, but still pretty good for playing the game.
Oh yes. Oh, yes. Oh.
It's a loud appeal again, turned down by the umpire.
Haven't seen much of the pitch. Seem to be playing low sometimes.
Yeah, there are a few balls that seem to keep low, both ends.
Yeah.
Also, there were times when some balls seemed to skid off the wicket a little bit.
Yep.
So 58 for 2.
The bowling has sort of solidified now, and they're not getting the ball to do what it was doing a while ago. So I think a shift in the wind has something to do with it.
Well, I don't know if that's the real reason, but I think with Messiah being out there, that taking most of the strike, then evidently that's going to be a big factor.
Yeah, he seemed to be playing the sheet anchor role here, and letting M.S.C.L do most of the hitting.
That's true.
Yeah.
As I said earlier, Messiah is known as Old Man Time because of his patience. He's a very patient player.
Yes.
And if he can stand up at one end and stop a bowler from taking wickets, he would do that.
Yes.
And
yeah, he seemed to be contented with the singles and doubles rather than hitting all out.
rather than
Yes.
boundaries at this point.
Yes. Sometimes when you're chasing runs, you need someone like that to really stabilize the innings,
Yeah, that's why he's a very key member of this team.
Yes.
He comes out to play every game, and
Yeah.
he has the same mindset, which is, I'm not going to get out, and you're going to bowl until I score every run that I have to score.
Yeah, and he seems to wear down the bowlers, with that style.
Yes.
I would not want to bowl against him.
Well, you're not the only one. There are a lot of people who do not like to bowl against him.
He seemed not to give like a semblance of a chance.
his intent isn't to let anyone buy his wicket. It's like you want his wicket, you have to earn it.
Yes.
And I've played with him on a number of occasions. I've also played against him, and that's true every game. That's the end of Stevens' 8th over. He's bowled 8 overs, 2 maidens, and taken 1.
Well off your pads to be able to play him, and I think that's where Messiah is really doing well.
That's true, Keith. He tends, as I said earlier, he bowls a heavy ball or solid ball, and it's difficult to get the ball away. That's the very first thing. And the next thing is his location. He played Donovan Blake running in to bowl to M.S.C.L. M.S.C.L comes forward and pushes his one up on the onside. Dawkins runs in field. No red. Here's Donovan bowling with a slip. Backward point about 3/4 way to the fence. A cover point. An extra cover about 3/4 way to the fence. A mid off. And a long off. On the onside he has a wide mid on. A short mid wicket. And a deep fine leg. This time M.S.C.L comes forward and drives this one over mid on.
Could be close.
And easily gets 2 runs.
You score here, come on, they had the best seat. I like that.
61 for 2. The crowd has gotten progressively bigger as the day has gone on. A lot of comments still being given to the batsmen and the bowlers from on the sidelines. M.S.C.L comes forward and looking for a drive, got a thick edge. The ball went down, throw back with a square. The man on the fine leg fence had to come around the field. Got another 2 runs. 63. For 2. He tried to pull this one down to fine leg, missed, was taken on the pad. No run. This is the 16th over being bowled. Donovan into M.S.C.L. M.S.C.L 1 out offside. Keeper Lake Fields. No run. 63 for 2. So winningest teams in the league. Donovan into M.S.C.L. M.S.C.L comes forward and drives. Goes straight to cover point, fielded by Donald. End of the over. Expected of the 2 batsmen at the wicket. They're doing what's expected of them. Here, M.S.C.L seemed to be the more aggressive player, going after the runs, picking them up all, and still occasionally picking up the 1s and the 2s. 65 or 16 overs.
I think the next guy to come in is
3rd man, backward point, cover point, cover, extra cover right on the fence, mid off. Onside he has forward square leg.
It seems to have.
Not really worried. Maurice Blake with his first ball into Messiah, he comes forward and kind of slap this one, or opening the face of the batting line to run away down to 3rd man. He gets an easy single. 66 for 2. Maurice not bowling his usual off, or he's bowling medium. 66 for 2. And Maurice bowling with a slip, a third man, a cover point, an extra cover. Just to go, and M.S.C.L plays this one through the leg side and wide of back with a square for 5 leg runs around the field and easily get 2 runs. It was a lot faster, so I believe it hit that spot that I was referring to earlier. We just hit the spot and just skid off and surprise the batsman. It seemed to be a spot that once the ball is hit right there, it does that, and that seemed to be one of them. Because the ball was a lot quicker than any other ball he had bowled.
Yes. It'd be good to get a replay of that to see how he got bowled exactly. It's difficult to see it from this angle. Mark is very much a stroke maker, so
it's, I believe, going to be determined by the way they bowl at him. There's some people who come up with a certain strategy as to how to bowl a player at batsman. So how they bowl at him is going to be interesting. And here's Maurice into him, and he comes forward and pushes his one up into the covers. The bowler runs around the field, end of the over. Pretty good over from Maurice.
A sort of googly leg break, and he floats the ball in the air a lot, and the batsmen have to be very cautious. They don't try to hit anything out because the field is wide open. They can play the ball short on the inside and take the very fast single. Any comment on that?
Yeah, here's Blake with a slip, a backward point, an extra cover, a long off. On the onside, he has a long on. He has a mid on, a backward square. And he, as Willie indicated, he floats the ball. He bowls both a leg break and off break, and occasionally he'll bowl the googly. So not only can he bowl the off break, but he can also bowl the googly, which is surprising and will surprise several batsmen.
I think it's a good change of pace, and that the batsmen now have to adjust their batting style and technique and actually come out and meet the ball. This is a relatively large ground, so you really have to clear the outfield. I know Mark is capable of that.
Well, both batsmen are capable of that. That's why I indicated earlier that I don't think it's going to be a real problem for the batsmen, because they're pretty good players of spin bowling.
Loud appeal.
Here Mark came forward, was wrapped in the pad. There was an appeal for like 3 or 4 of the fielders. The umpire really wasn't concerned with that, though. No. So therefore no decision was made. And here's Blake into Mark Murray, who swings this one down through back with a square for 4. Seemed as though it was an off break, starting about Midland leg, and Mark recognizing that and swinging it down to back with a square. It wasn't as delicate as a sweep; it was more of a swing. Successful stroke for him, 4 runs. And Blake in to Mark. Mark comes back, looks to slap this one down through the gully, the point area, missed, no run. End of the over.
One 4 in the over is enough.
Yeah. That's Mark, that's Mark all the time, always looking to get on with it. Messiah recognizing the importance of this game. Messiah Now facing Maurice Blake, and he comes forward and pushes one back up along the offside of the wicket. Archie Blake runs around from the extra cover position, fields no run. 74 for 3. U.A.A. chasing 133. Here Messiah came forward, looking to steer this one down through gully. Missed. Ball was taken by the wicketkeeper, who dislodged the bills meanwhile. And it's being repaired now by the umpire. Here's Maurice Bowen with a slip. The third man. A gully really, really deep. A backward point. And this one he pushed into the cover area, wide of the extra cover. Got an easy single. You've got Johnson at cover, Archie Blake at extra cover, Stevens at long off. Long on, you've got Edwards, Donald at forward square. Next ball from Maurice to Mark, and Mark came forward, pushed it up on the offside of the wicket. No run. Maurice into Mark, and Mark comes forward. Pushes this one up into the onside. Square leg, the middle forward square for 3. U.A.A. in their reply to Conway's 132 for 8. U.A.A. very much. Their Mark coming forward and driving one into the cover region and getting a single. Edwards from cover point runs around and fields 1 run. 77.
You had to make 3 zeros on one. You had to make a 1 plus and a 3 zeros.
This next ball from Blake, Messiah pulls down to deep back. Archie Blake, and off on leg spinner, runs in to bowl to Mark Murray, who comes forward, pushes this one up into the offside. No run. Blake fielded himself. He's bowling quite good indeed, surprisingly. He is running in to bowl to Mark. Mark drives this one down through the mid-off area. Gets a single. As the fielder down there would field and hurriedly return his throw to the bowler. Messiah seemed to come forward and push down through leg gully. Another single, and from first slip ran around the field. The score here is continuing to click. Cut from Mark, through point, gets only a single as the man from cover had to run around on field. 5 runs off the over, 81 for 3. Other players in the U.A.A. team, but his attitude is always the same, and he seemed to have carried this attitude for a while. There we got a little bit of a scare here. Mark drove one into the cover point area. The ball deflected off Dawkins' hands to Archie Blake, who's at cover, who had come around. And meanwhile, the batsman was looking for a single, and they got it. When Messiah on drives, man at deep, long on, runs around and runs in. One run. 83 for 3. This is the 22nd over.
32. 32?
83 for 3. 23rd over. Sorry, 22nd over. Maurice Blake bowling to Mark Murray. Messiah's 32. Last batsman out for 20. This one, Mark comes forward. Didn't seem to know very much about that one. Know whether to play a drive or just pushing it to covers. Missed. Was taken by the keeper. Not cleanly, rather. Maurice into Mark, short. Mark comes back looking to cut, missed. Ball taken by Durant. No run. Maurice Blake running from the northern end into Mark. Mark drives. Ball seemed to hit into the ground. Bounced up. Archie Blake running to his right was able to knock it down, but the batsman was easily able to get a single.
The score is ticking along. The score right now is on the 22nd over. It was 84 for Conway batting. On the 22nd over, it was 55. So I think the U.A.A. batsmen have this game well under control, and it's moving along. And I think very soon we'll have a victory here. It's not really a prediction, but from the way things are looking, it seems that they're going to have a early victory here.
Well, with a game of cricket, if one or two mistakes and one or two wickets go, the game can just turn around. And as I said earlier, with the light fading, it's more difficult for the batsman to pick up the ball.
I've noticed that the batsman is not moving their feet to the spinner, and they're just letting the ball come onto the bat. I think that's a very dangerous way to approach spin bowling.
Yes, you got to use your feet to really probably get to the pitch of the ball so that you don't let the ball turn. It was a faster one. Blake bowls again to Messiah. Messiah on drives. And they got another single.
On the runs that are needed for victory right now by the U.A.A., it's 48 runs. 47.
47.
Being corrected here, it's 47 for victory.
So that's about 2 runs and over.
Meanwhile, a comment to what Willie said earlier, I really don't want to see this game end so soon. I still think that Conway is the better team. Don't do that, evidently.
seem to be having some technical difficulties here.
Unity made 149.
Blake.
148. And
Can you hear me?
Cummins scored 44, not out. And Ken Corbett scored 25, not out. Conway made batted. They knocked off the runs in 38 point. 4 overs. 150. 32 and 30, 24 were the high scores. They were, yeah. D. Blake scored 24 and M. Blake scored 32. Murphy is 2 leg back. Let's send the score to 89.
And in this match, Conway got
132.
top scorer.
Dawkins to 34.
And Blake 31.
Feel too long.
This could still turn around, you know.
Only thing feel
Cricket is a funny game.
had to get it. Game done now. There we go.
You won't hear nothing yet. Not yet.
One second.
What time? 5:38.
No. He's good. He's all right. Yeah.
Okay, and Mark was just bowled by Maurice Blake there. Seemed to have played over the ball.
Okay. Can you hear me, Ken?
Yes.
Okay. U.A.A. just lost the 4th wicket. Mark Murray bowled by Maurice.
Newton was ball that he faced. Good cover drive.
How well he plays today is something else. That for his first scoring stroke seemed quite confident. He's a very good player of spin bowling, so it's going to be an interesting confrontation now between both him and Archie Blake.
And he's a spinner himself. So
here he comes forward and drives the first ball out to the cover point area for a single. 91 for 4. This is the 27th over. And here's Archie Blake bowling with a slip, a cover point, a cover. This one, Masai came forward and drived, got a thick outside edge to the ball. Ball going past the first slip fielder. More, I guess. The ball going through the 3rd slip gully area in the ear. Archie Blake jumping a little bit because he felt that pretty much forced the batsman to making a false stroke. But it was safe anyway, and they easily got 2 runs.
Blake has been getting the edges of the bat the last few overs. It was a thick inside edge in the previous over from when Messiah was batting.
Yeah, that's true. Here he into Messiah. Messiah looking to cut, misses. Seemed to be a faster one. Seemed to be running away from it with his arm. .92 for 4. Blake in. Messiah looking to steer this one. Running away again. Miss. Goes through the wicketkeeper. Here's Blake into M.S.C.L, looking to slash, misses.
Looks like a faster
Ball
one.
goes through to the wicketkeeper, no run. End of a good over there from Archie Blake. Ceding 3 runs from the over.
Blake seemed to be doing a pretty good job with a spin.
Off stump. So evidently that's not really going to be of any concern to the batsman. It's not really going to worry them at all. For a leg spinner, he needs to start the ball more in the middle stump.
He's still finding the edges of the batsmen, so that should give him some encouragement. At least he's beating them, especially Messiah, who has been in for quite a while, should be all set in, but he's still managing to find his edge.
That's true, but Messiah, whether he just came in or he's been batting for a while, he's going to bat the same way. I don't think that's going to change. At this point, he has resolved within himself that he isn't going to get out. That's his intent.
Yes.
And Maurice is forcing Joseph to play. Here he got a thick outside edge to one. It went past the slip area. An easy single. 93 for 4.
90.
What's Messiah's score?
Sorry, 94 for 4.
20.
Maurice here bowling with a slip. Third man, a deep gully, a point, extra cover, long off, mid on,
94.
and a short mid wicket. M.S.C.L looking to drive, gets it in the bottom edge of the bat, ball going out.
That's why I wore this.
Going back down the wicket to Maurice, fields no run.
I don't know if that's standard.
96 for 4. Yeah, Maury. Comes forward and drives this one back along the wicket. Tries to stop it unsuccessfully. It's another single. 97
Blake.
4 in reply to Conway's 133. Here Messiah comes forward and pushes this one out into the offside. Dawkins runs around on the field. No run. Blake bowling with a slip, a point, a cover, extra cover, mid off, mid on, sorry, long on, mid on.
Ball seemed to have hit him full on the pad there. Confident appeal from the Conway players.
Being taken on the pad, but the umpire really wasn't concerned with that. And it seems as though we've got more
Bowling there, just keeping down the
Maybe
runs
bowling.
for a spinner.
to Jay Newton. There. One Joseph coming back looking to steer down through the gutty area, missing the ball, keeping low. Wicketkeeper not taking it cleanly. The batsman ran for one by. .98 for 4. There, Messiah getting that one, steering that one down through the slip area and getting an easy single. Score now moves it to 99 for 4. Maurice not bowling spin today, but bowling medium, really pushing the ball through. But he can bowl, he can be a very effective spin bowler. Here he is to Newton. Newton gets a short one, tries to pull it through the onside. Taking to the pad, ball runs out into the backward square area. The batsman getting the single. Score moves up to 100. 100 for 4.
Slowly but surely, this game is slipping away from Conway, and I think the U.A.A. team is smelling victory.
This is 28th over. 100 for 4. Messiah still at the wicket, still batting quite comfortably indeed. At this point, they need 33 runs for victory with 6 wickets to fall. It's Maurice into Messiah. Just pads up and watches this one go by. There's a mark, runs in now to bowl. Messiah didn't know very much about that one. He seemed to hit that spot where he kept low and hurry into the batsman. To bowl to Jane Newton, who sweeps this one. Trip back with a stone to fine leg rather. Man from back with a square runs around the fields. 2 runs. 102 for 4. This is the 31st over of the innings. And here's Archie Blake bowling to Jay Newton. Comes forward and pushes one. Back below the wicket. Blake feels no run. Pretty much a perfectly pitched ball. $102 for 4 here. This one was started way outside the leg stump, not turning an awful lot. Batsman trying to sweep it down to the backward square area, missed, no run. 102 for 4. Blake into Newton. Newton comes back, cuts. More of a slap rather than a cut. Out in the cover area, Dawkins field. Not cleanly initially, but he recovered quickly. No run. Blick with a slipper point to cover. Extra cover. This one was two buys. Leg breaks in to start way outside the off stump. The batsman not looking to play a stroke. Beat the wicketkeeper. Score now moves up to 104 for 4. Continuation the rest of the field. There's a Blake.
29.
In to Newton. Newton tries to sweep this one. Missed. Small confrontation now between a few of the fielders and the captain.
104 in that 29?
104.
Score right now is 104. 104 for 4.
And
the spirit of the players also hasn't been the sort of the winning spirit is needed.
yes, I think I noticed that too. They don't seem as enthusiastic as you'd expect them to be, being in championship, putting up a real fight to win.
And that really hasn't given them a fighting chance. Unfortunately. But the one thing we can say is that they were good enough to get here. And there were 17 teams, and these are the last 2. So Evidently, they did do quite a good job, or the type of job to get him here.
Of course, and even if their performance out there today has been less than awe-inspiring, you really can't say that they didn't deserve to be here, because
That-
they had by far the best record throughout the regular season.
That's correct. There we saw a beautiful stroke from Messiah and a good piece of fielding from Donovan Blake, but his return was long. Therefore, the batsman could have easily made the 2 runs. And he seemed to be probably one of the only players at this point who's giving 100%.
Well, I've never ever seen Donovan give less than 100% once he's out in the cricket field.
That's a very good point. Some of the games I've seen him playing, he always seemed to be willing to give 100% at all the time. And I guess that was probably very evident when he reacted, or why he reacted the way that way when he got ran out. So
Well, them those guys playing next man, they ain't going for no shots either. They can stick with the rest of them.
Maurice now into Joseph. Joseph drives this one wide of cover. The man in extra cover runs around and fields. 1 run. Here he's at the top of his mark. Bowling with a slip of third man. Then to Newton. Newton looking to dab that one away. Missed. The ball went through the heart. The rest of his fielders is once again a slip. Third man gully. Cover, extra cover. Mid off. Onside. Mid on. About 3/4 way to the fence. Forward square leg. Sorry, short mid wicket. This one, Newton comes forward and drives into the cover area. The man comes off the fence and picks up Dono and throws.
That is good running. That is good running.
Excitement to the end.
Yeah, it was a very good throw. The ball hit the wicket, but the batsman was home.
That's close run out now.
The batsman was home in anticipation. The fielder was expecting the decision. The batsman scampered through for a 3rd run, so that's very good running, very good running by the batsman.
I think in that instance, Dawkins should have been standing closer to the wicket in anticipation of the throw.
Oh yeah, he should have been standing close enough to the wicket to not allow the batsman to do that. But these 2 players are very experienced players. They're recognizing that the fielders evidently had a mental lapse and really capitalized on it. Score moves up to 111 for 4. Now the stumps has been repaired. Dawkins runs in to bowl to Messiah. Set comes forward, looking to push it through the offside. Missed. Taken by Hart. Sorry, taken by Durant. No run.
41-43.
Dawkins. Into Messiah, comes forward and drives.
And he's run out.
Into the cover area. Archie Blake ran around. Here's an old man, the oldest member of the team. Ran around field. Easily threw the wicket down with Jay Newton out of his crease.
Yes, I don't think Messiah called for that run. It was his call. He didn't call. Newton felt the run was there and started down the wicket.
That's true. Messiah definitely didn't call. As a matter of fact, he sent Joseph back. He said no, but by then Joseph was too far down the wicket to actually return. So the fifth wicket has just fallen.
12. 12. Six.
111 for 5. Dawkins now running in to bowl to Messiah. Messiah, I'm sure, is close to 50. Pushes this one back into the onside to Johnson. Fields. No run. Still 111 for 5. Dawkins into Messiah. Messiah comes forward and drives this one uppishly down into the mid-off area. 1 run. Messiah's 42. 112 for 5.
So that's just over 3 runs and over. Certainly doable at this state. A lot of batting to come. Butcher is still not out there. Peter Weeks can go out there and hit the ball very hard, score a lot of runs very quickly. So I still don't think we're going to see a very close finish.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think this over, though, is going to be a very interesting over because this is Maurice's last. So if Messiah can get some runs off of this over, or rather, if Maurice can bowl it over and no runs come off of it, then I think, or very few, I think that forces the batsman to go after the new bowler when he picks up at the other end. But 1 run came off the very first ball.
I think Donovan still has a few overs left to bowl. And I'm not sure who else still has overs remaining to bowl.
There, Gene Newton came in behind that one, pushed it into the point area. Here's Maurice Blake in to Gordon. Newton comes forward, pushes it out wide of the man at forward square.
And we saw a little bit of nerves out there.
Yep.
With what should have been a very easily fielded ball being fumbled.
Well, what we're looking at here is probably the second youngest member of the team, and it seems as though U.A.A. has recognized this, and they're really, they're really testing him. They're pushing him to the limit here. Beautifully fielded there by Donovan.
Beautiful stop by Donovan Blake.
Messiah got a full toss outside the off stump. He came forward and slapped it to Donovan's right, who was at a deep gully position. And Donovan running around and stopping it cleanly with one hand. Batsman were only able to get a single. And what seemed to be a 4 turned in only to be a single. So score is what, 125, sorry, 115? 115 for 5. Maurice into Gordon. Gordon comes forward. He's beaten outside the off stump. This one leaving him. Taken by the wicketkeeper.
Gordon at 32. Okay.
And that's it today.
That's true. That's a very good point. Unusually is right. I've seen him bowl very effectively in the past. Batsman was able to get 3 runs. There wasn't a fielder down at the deep fine leg position. 3 runs.
50 from the side.
I guess so.
118 now for 5.
15.
I thought I was going to man. I thought I was going to man left too.
6 inches, 8.
I'm gonna run to go
40,
right.
41, 42, 45.
What's that? Go on, get over here, man.
49. 49.
And Dawkins in to Gordon. Gordon comes forward. I don't know if he got a touch to that one, but the batsman ran 2 anyway. No, it's 2 byes. Wasn't taken by the keeper. 2 byes.
12 more runs? 12 more runs?
120.
49.
120 for 5. Several comments being made right now by the players on the sideline.
Well, there's one player that looks very relaxed out there. I think that's the captain Butcher. He's trying to show his people that they've got nothing to worry about.
I guess so, and I guess if I was in his position, I would feel the same way too. It's Dawkins into Newton. Newton
Ooh, and that was a very good ball.
looking to play this one through the onside. Missed, taken on the pad. Allowed appeal.
That ball looked like the pips just outside the off stump and cut right back
cut
in.
back, wow. Seemed to move an awful lot, but evidently the umpire wasn't in harmony with the fielders. Dawkins into Newton. Newton comes forward and drives straight to the fielder. Wasn't fielded cleanly. The ball deflected off of his ankle, it looks like, at cover, and the fielder at the mid-off position had to come in and field. One more to Gordon. 121. 121.
There are two balls left in this over, and Messiah's on 49. Let's see if he picks up
and
his
there's
50.
his 50.
Run out. Come on, man. Come on.
There's his 50. 50 with a very risky single. Here he came forward and slashed this one. Came forward and slapped this one into the cover area, straight to the fielder that he pretty much has been targeting all day, Darnell.
Yes.
Picked up, it was a good throw to the wicketkeeper, but the batsman was safe.
And he still looks fresh out there. He looks like he can score another 50 if it was needed.
Typical Messiah. As I said, old man time hasn't been frazzled by anything that's happened so far today. His intent is the same. Dawkins into Gordon. Newton comes forward, drives the ball, takes the inside edge of the bat onto the pad, run up along the wicket. It's going to 122 for 5 at the end of the over. He believes that his job is to bat as long as he can. Doesn't matter how many runs he score as long as he occupies the wicket. And today, that philosophy stood true for him. Yesterday, I recall hearing him say, in this semifinal game, they're going to win. It doesn't matter to him how long he has to stay out there to ensure that the team wins, but they're going.
Yes.
So he really isn't concerned about time. All he's concerned about staying there, and here he gets one down to the third man position. Easy single. And he moves on to 51. Score 123 for 5. And Donovan Blake being brought in from the northern end this time. And here he is running in to bowl to Gordon. It's a good ball there by Donovan. Starting outside the off stump, running back into the batsman. Gordon coming forward.
Wisely, he pulled his bat out of the way.
I don't know if he pulled his bat out the way or he was beaten. He tends to play like that. He makes you think that he pulled his bat out the way, but in my opinion, I think he's simply beaten. The ball went through. Here He drives at one.
Well, he certainly didn't pull his bat out of the way that time.
Yeah, and he evidently he couldn't convince anyone else of that either. Then he drove at one that was pitched up, missed. The ball was taken by the wicketkeeper. Gordon, the youngest rather of the Newton brothers, he is facing Donovan. He tries to play this one through the leg side, missed. Wasn't taken but cleanly by the keeper. Gets a single.
Four after this. Four after this.
8.
7 more.
Here's Donovan running in to bowl to Messiah. Short, Messiah comes in behind and pushes it back along the wicket. Pretty good over so far by Donovan. As I said, he's one of the few players out there who's still giving 100%. And not only in his fielding, but also in his batting. Sorry, not in his bowling. Messiah tries to play this one through the onside, missed. Once again, not taken cleanly by the keeper.
Durant is having his troubles behind the wicket there, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's not having a good day at all today. He batted. Conway would get another wicket, that's why. 124 for 5. And Dawkins into Messiah. Messiah comes back and pushes his one back up along the wicket. And I guess this was a short one, and Messiah recognizing it, but not really looking to get it away through the onside.
6 more runs? Yeah. I'm more versus 4.
Dawkins now off a shorter run. Into Messiah. Messiah comes forward and drives. Donovan runs around from the cover point area.
I know he wants to.
Gets a single. 126 for 5. Sure, the crowd anticipating victory sometime this over. Dawkins into Gordon. Gordon comes forward and drives this one. Ball thick edge down through the gully area. They get 2. Easy 2 runs. 129 for 5.
I think the score is 130.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's 130?
Yes, 130.
130 for 5. 3 more runs for victory. Dawkins in to Gordon. Gordon comes forward and plays a beautiful stroke off the pads out into the mid-wicket area. Johnson runs around, fields. The batsmen get 2. 132. At this point, the scores are even.
Well, if we get 4 quick wickets, now it's a tied game.
132.
Not much chance.
131.
Yeah, no, there's not much hope of that. 132 for 5. Dawkins running away from us to bowl to Gordon Newton, who comes forward and drives the ball out in the cover
And that's
area.
the winning run.
And that's a single, and I believe that's the winning run.
Isn't that a winning run?
No.
Huh?
No.
Oh, I thought you had 130.
No, one more. I made a mistake.
Oh,
Okay.
132 now.
Okay, sorry about that.
All tied.
132. 132 for 5. Is Dawkins into Messiah.
And that's it.
Messiah stroked the ball into the cover area. The ball wasn't fielded cleanly. And the batsmen get a single. 133. That's the end of the game.
Runs off, that's it. Hey, umpire. That's it. Runs off.
End of the game. U.A.A
133 for 5.
And there we see the Barbadian flag being rushed into the field. I think, Michael, I was correct to say those were some U.A.A. supporters out there.
I guess so. I guess so.
Well, I'd say experience won this one.
Oh yeah, definitely. The U.A.A. team is a very experienced team, and one of the things I was very surprised at.
And we see Messiah being carried
off the field
there by some ardent supporters. Being carried in this direction. He doesn't seem to be enjoying that as much as he did batting out there.
Evidently not. This isn't the sort of thing that he really cared for. He cared for batting. And, I mean, it was very evident there when everyone indicated that the game was over. Messiah was quite prepared to continue batting. So he really don't care about, all the hoop-la-la that goes on after the game. After a game like this, his concern is that, he want to bat. Yeah. That's what he wants.
And he did that today, and he did it well.
Yeah.
Splendid innings, scored 54, I think 54. It was. 54 runs.
Very beautiful it is indeed. He came in and the loss of the first wicket, recognized his team was in trouble, and stood there and played a very beautiful innings indeed. Experience once again showing why it's an element that's very common among victorious teams or victorious individuals.
True, and I think Conway will certainly be here again next year. They've showed remarkable ability over the course of the season, and today they showed. We thought they were a little bit flat out there. I think, like we said, experience was a big factor in that, not being able to knowing exactly how to psych themselves up for the big game. And yesterday, being at the semi-final game with U.A.A., I'll tell you, U.A.A. was certainly very psyched to be out there.
Oh yeah. One of the things, though, an observation that I think Conway did, that probably they should reconsider in the event that they're placed in such a situation again, is they won the toss and they elected not to field. In my opinion, they would have had a much better chance if they had fielded. Force U.A.A. to bat first, try to reduce this scoring rate, try to subdue them, and then go after trying to beat this score. And I think that with the quality young players that they have, they would have had a much better chance of doing that.
Well, I'm not privy to Conway's captain decision-making process, but I think part of his concerns might have been the fading light at the end of the inning, being as it is very late in the season, and knowing how late the games went yesterday and what the conditions were like. I think that might have been a factor in his decision.
That might have been a factor, and rightfully so. Meanwhile, I still think that batting first wasn't the sort of thing that you want to do in a game like this.
Well, with that, we see the victorious team out there with Mr. Frank Evelyn, the president of the M.S.C.L, and a bunch of supporters.
Okay. Sure, okay. Here we see a number of photos being taken right now by the victorious team and all of its ardent supporters. There's several conversations going on all over the ground, and I'm sure several comments are being made right now about why this team was successful and the other team wasn't. But that's all part of the post-game comments. But as we all say, the best team won, and it was very evident they were the better team in several areas. They fielded better, they bowled better, they bat better, and those are the three areas that that make a team a winning one. So, congratulations to the U.A.A. Cricket Club. Also, congratulations to Conway for making it to the finals. I think that they have to be commended, and that's why they're here, because they played a very good game, and I'm sure they're going to continue to play a good game. I'm positive they recognize that. I'm sure that they need to recognize that they're probably a player or two away from being from beating the U.A.A. team, and that they can walk away with that they can walk away with that as surety.
7 wickets and made 150 for 7.
So today, at this point in the game, a very excited crowd, several U.A.A. supporters really enjoying themselves at this moment. But I don't think the losing team have anything to be really ashamed about. They played quite a good game. Oh, we are? Okay.
A two-man victory there. I don't think it was a well-organized victory there.
Probably it wasn't. I believe it was ad hoc, but never mind. They're enjoying themselves right now.
Yes, the spontaneity counts.
Yeah. As several other players and fans are presently enjoying themselves. But it's just really interesting. It's really interesting to see what's going on right now. Just about everyone is enjoying this moment of elation as U.A.A. has proven that they're
nice going, guys. You give it your
champs. They're presently the 1992 M.S.C.L cricket champions, and they're showing to the world. As a matter of fact, they show to the world that they're not only old, but they're more experienced than everyone else. And not only are they experienced, but they're the best. We're going to try to get some comments from several. We're going to try to get comments from several of the participating players.
No, it doesn't go that far. Don't go that far. But I tell you what I will do though.
Are we having a presentation now?
I have no idea.
So this is what, number 3?
No, that's number 2.
We just thought it'd be better for this camera up here to get it if it's down here.
Walk, Chico.
Okay, yeah.
Hey, Rick.
What should I say now?
Just present stuff. You've done this so many times.
I know it. I have. Okay, this will be a camera.
Yeah, right.
Try and give you a little more length on the cable.
Okay, good.
Is this okay? Is this enough?
This is good enough. Yeah, right. I don't have that much to
Hello.
Where's the president?
Let me keep it in the bed. We can keep all in there.
Are you fellas ready?
All right. Just come inside. Oh, I said behind you. You gotta face the camera. Everyone, let somebody hold the trophy and then hand it to you. Let somebody hold it. Let somebody hold it first. You can always hand it to you.
What's up? You live with my ears, man?
They won't do that.
You don't?
This one coming in.
President.
Spread out.
Are you ready?
Spread out.
Empire. Let's Chico. Y'all ready? Okay. As president of Mass State Cricket League, I would like to congratulate the U.A.A. on winning the trophy this year. I will now present the cup to the president of the U.A.A. Cricket Club for winning this game today. We'll also have our other presentation on Saturday night. But right now, we'd like to hand over this cup to the winners of the Mass State Cricket League Championship. The president, Mr. Butcher, for the U.A.A. Mr. Butcher, captain, and president, Mr. Messiah. So, you want me to?
All right, hold on.
Sir, come on the other side, man.
Sir, come on the other side.
Freddie, come on the other side. Good luck to the winners. Okay. Hip it! Oh! Hip it!
Wait a minute, wait a minute. I gotta take a picture here because I want to picture here to take all to my let's Parker! Move from there, man. There's nothing in there. Hold it. Hey, Parker! This was the day, you know? Hey, that's the day.
Okay. So, Saturday night, the big night, huh? Okay, good. Everything was